What's up, Dynasty fantasy footballers? My name is Generate Talent. I'm here to navigate the tight end space today. Starting at the top, obviously, there's a little bit of a debate between Trey McBride, who is number one finisher of the 2025-26 season, and then obviously Bowers still getting drafted very similar, maybe a couple picks after in Dynasty fantasy football. Similar in age, Brock Bowers a little younger. But today I really want to focus on what's happening after those first two picks in the tight end space. So obviously the fantasy darling right now at tight end, if you miss those first two, is Colston Loveland. And I think that's mainly that recency bias, because if you were to ask me in the first half of the year, who's likely to be number 3, it's Tyler Warren, right? He was even taking tush pushes and stuff like that. When the Colts were booming, he was too, and he was looking like the easy number 3 choice at the tight end rankings for Dynasty Fantasy. Colston Loveland obviously made the playoffs. He finished strong. He had a big playoff game. So right now, the community would probably have Colston Loveland at number 3. But I'm seeing some real big comps from Colston Loveland that look familiar to me, and we're going to get into it in just a second. But what I want to show first is who I think belongs in that conversation. That top 5 has got to be number 2 from this year, 2025-2026. You had Kyle Pitts. Now, I realize that Kyle Pitts benefited from Drake London being hurt. Obviously, Michael Penix getting hurt kind of opened up more targets for him. But in a contract year, my boy did his thing. Like we said, finished at number 2 behind Trey McBride by a substantial amount. But number 2 is number 2. So let's throw up this first graphic, which is going to show how close these guys really were this year. I know in fantasy points, there was a huge break between the two. But looking at this here, we have Trey McBride, who's a year older, right? And Trey McBride didn't have the greatest rookie year, right? Kyle Pitts did. Kyle Pitts had the 1,000-yard rookie year. He came in super young. Even right now, with 5 years of experience, Kyle Pitts is 25. So, I'd definitely take a tight end at 25 years old with 5 years of experience and has almost touched 1,000 yards for the second time just recently. And a run-first offense in Atlanta. Rightfully so, Bijan. Looking here, you see that Kyle Pitts ran about 539 routes, whereas Trey McBride ran 694. Couple different things there. Obviously, the Cardinals are always behind. They're having to throw a lot more. Also, Atlanta being the rushing offense and Kyle Pitts not being your best blocker on the team. He was stuck at left tackle, it looked like, for a good portion of the early season. So interesting to see Zach Robinson kind of figure it out down the stretch. And now he's over in Tampa, which I think would be a good look over there for Kyle Pitts as a free agent, since he always has big games in Tampa. But let's refocus on the graphic. A little younger than McBride. You see on the first downs per route run, they're very similar at 9%. Also, yards per route run, very similar. And again, I realize this is Kyle Pitts' best year in 5 years, but this is very encouraging, especially if we go now to a pass-first offense where he's a number 2 target. Because in the pecking order in Atlanta, it was Drake London, it was Bijan Robinson, and then if everything else broke down, it was Kyle Pitts. And that's just too late. So that's why you saw him kind of charge in when London went down. A couple other things we're going to look at here. We're going to take that down. Obviously, the graphic very complimentary of Colston Loveland as well. But something else we're going to bring up here is we talked about Kyle Pitts now being 25. You see, back in the day, I sound like a old head, but back in the day, it took 4 or 5 years to really understand the tight end position. It's complex. You have to learn to block. Obviously, you're in the route tree as well. So a lot of things that come with it. And you could see at age 25, at 127.2%, that's like the peak age where tight ends really start coming along. It wasn't like this where Laporta, Pitts, all these guys had their big first year and just had the great career, right? So there is a big learning curve at this position, and I think that's what Colston Loveland and the other young tight ends are going to have to go through as well, Fannin Jr. and so on and so forth. But now you have Kyle Pitts, 5 years in the league. I'm starting to think this is a real product here. So something to look forward to moving forward. Has already put in his 5 years. He's younger than a lot of tight ends that are in the league now. He's younger than Dalton Kincaid. So coming in so young, getting that experience, I think really helped. But here we go. This is for you guys here with the Loveland love. I know there's a ton of it. So you see the rookie years, very comparable in terms of like very similar PFF grade. Kyle Pitts obviously had one of the best rookie tight end years of all time with over 1,000 yards. It has since been reached and amassed, but he was the first tight end with 1,000 yards in his rookie year. So let's not forget this 6'6", 4'4" running tight end that is now a free agent that could go to a big time passing offense a la KC. I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting. And we talk Colston Loveland versus Kyle Pitts for that number 3 spot. Colston Loveland, there's a lot of options in that Bears offense. And I get it. He looked good in that playoff game, and I'm excited about him as well. I still think I'd take Warren over Loveland, just with Warren doing the tush push and different things like that, staying involved in the offense. When the Colts offense was humming, man, it was humming, and everything was working. So we'll see. But in terms of Pitts versus Loveland, a lot of comps there that we could see. I have one more thing here. Let's see. This is obviously his rookie year to now. Very similar in the fact that almost touched 1,000 yards again. But I want you to look over the games played. And outside of the knee surgery, he's had 17 games played in 4 out of his 5 years. So, I mean, you can't help your club when you're in the tub. This guy's out on the field. He's playing ball. He's putting up numbers now. And he's got to be somewhere around that top 5 tight end ranking. I know videos are still having him in top 10, maybe even after top 10 because of what he's done to people before. But man, don't sleep on Kyle Pitts. He was number 2 for a reason. We can't just throw that information out. And this guy possibly getting a new landing spot. I mean, how great could that be for Kyle Pitts? I don't want him back in Atlanta. I don't care if Stefanski's friendly to tight ends. Like, this guy has got to get his own offense where he's at least number 2 in the pecking order. Behind Bijan, behind London, it doesn't work. He's not going to get his lion's share that he needs to really be a successful tight end and eat with these other tight ends. Because if you look at Kyle Pitts, this guy is the most athletic tight end we have in terms of just running and catching the ball. What else do you need to see? I think it's Kyle Pitts' year. Once again, I'm hoping he goes to a big-time spread offense that gets him in the middle of the field, doesn't have him blocking for the quarterback for 70% of the snaps. It's just unbelievable how many times it looked like he was playing left tackle and not the number 4 overall tight end.
You sound stupid!
Check it out. Hey, Paul. You got a question? You ask the 8-ball.
You're gonna wear this all the time?
All signs point to yes.